Hi, this is an American Citizen here. In today's video, what's up with Microblog edition April of 2024. It's been 2 months since the last edition of What's Up with Microblog, and I must say that the pace of improvements and additions to Microblog has a bit slowed, but there's a few things worth mentioning in this edition. Of course, there's always those bug fixes and stability improvements that have been occurring in the last 2 months, and also there's a few hiccups in recent weeks. But all is good right now. And the first thing that has been improved regarding the newsletter functionality. So if I go in the newsletter here, you'll see now that using the monthly email, you can also select whatever category that you want. So in general, you can use short microblog post or long posts in a weekly email. And if you select that, you will be able to change the day of the week where you want the newsletter to be sent and which category that you want to use. Now in this monthly release of the newsletter, you can select the same categories, which was not possible before. So I think it's a nice improvement to see. You can, of course, show all your subscribers. You can search for subscribers, and you can also show all previously generated newsletter that you have sent since using the service. If you are a Blue Sky user, you know that you can write a post using hashtags like this one here. But now you know that you can do the same thing if you are using Microblog. So I switch back here. You can write a post in Microblog, and if there is a hashtag included in this post, it should transfer to your Blue Sky account if you are cross-posting your content from Microblog to Blue Sky. I'll post that thing and I will see if this is cross-posted correctly to Blue Sky. Now I'm in the my Blue Sky account, and you can see here that my post is cross-posted and my hashtag is over there. So it works. Another tweaks to Microblog is the use of verified account. So if your domain name and your Microblog is correctly registered, you can see now this little blue check mark that you have on your profile. So this is new. Speaking of Blue Sky and Microblog integration, now when you are writing something, a post on Microblog, if you have cross-posting enabled so that your post is cross-posted to Blue Sky, what happens if someone's on Blue Sky replies to your post on Microblog? Well, now Microblog is able to get this reply and send it to your Microblog account so that you can start a conversation between Microblog and someone on Blue Sky. And I think this part of Microblog is underrated. Maybe it's not well understood by many Microblog users, and it makes Microblog a hub for your post and activities online. If you want to cross-post things to Blue Sky or to Threads or to Mastodon, then you have this ability to get replies from all those people on other platforms, and it makes kind of the web seems like a kind of a whole when you can engage conversation. And by being on Microblog, you're not penalized for that, because Microblog is a full Fediverse ActivityPub citizen, and so that you can have this kind of conversation. I think it's a super cool feature of Microblog. So in short, now you can just start conversation with people on Blue Sky, provided that you have enabled cross-posting from Microblog to Blue Sky. Also remember that applications that are using Microblog as the backend, like Wavelength, Microblog itself for Mac, and also Strata has been updated many times in the last 2 months. So make sure to use the latest releases of those apps. Also, there was a few design tweaks in the overall also, there was a few design tweaks overall in the web interface, which are pretty subtle. But there is one thing that has been added and that you should be aware of is this option here, which is called the AI. It's available in your account settings on the left sidebar. So Microblog is using a few features that are depending on OpenAI for processing some data. One example of that is that if you are using Microblog to host a podcast, then the transcription of the podcast happens to be using OpenAI transcription feature. Also, there's this feature where if you save a bookmark using Microblog to an article on the web, chances are that this article will be summarized also using OpenAI transcription feature. So if you want to disable that feature for all everything in Microblog, then you should just uncheck this checkbox here. Otherwise, leave it on, and then you will have the full experience of Microblog. And this is, of course, for premium users. There's also two improvements that came to Microblog. The first thing is regarding threads profile images. Those images or photos from threads profile should be better handled by Microblog. And the other improvement is regarding the domain name transfer. So if you are having a domain name on GoDaddy and you want to transfer this domain under the control of Microblog, the process has been improved and it should be working better now. There is one big new features that came to Microblog in the last 2 months, and it is about blog roles. So let's see how it works. You go in the design section here on the left sidebar to access the blog roles feature. It is actually called recommendations within Microblog. So actually, in fact, this is the blog roles that we used to have in the early 90s when blogging was very popular. So if I click on this, you'll get the initial view of your recommendations. This feature has been introduced. It was followed by a few tweaks here and there. So now this is more stable, and I can talk about it in more detail. So the first thing that you have to know is that you can have many blog roles. If you have many recommendations, you can then classify those in different blog roles. So you will be able to click this button here, edit blog roles. I have a few. I have the general one. This was the default one. And then I created three more. One which is about people who are blogging or writing mostly about Apple. There's one dedicated to photography, and there's one that I call the lesser known. So you can, of course, delete those. You can export the content of those recommendations list. So let's say I click on this one. So there's three recommendations to this specific blog role. And I can switch from there to another blog role. You can, of course, import the list from an OPML file, which are used to be generated from RSS readers that can generate those files. And then you can import those. And if I create a new recommendation, then I give it a name. I give it the URL of the blog itself, and you can write an optional description. This description here doesn't show up anywhere, which I find a bit strange. But it is what it is. So if I click on Menton Reese itself, this is what will appear in the list of on your blog roll, and you can again write this is the founder of Microblog, and I can update that. And also, if I come back here, you will see that I can move this specific entry to another blog roll if I want to do some management right there. So this is the basic feature. I can also reorder those entries within the list. And I'll show you how you can display this list on your blog once it has been created. In order to display one of your blog role, the first thing that you have to do is install a new plugin, which is this one here, the blog role shortcut. And once it is installed, there is no setting by itself. It will allow you to use a shortcut where within a post or within a page on your blog. So let's see, I go in the pages here section, and I click on a new page that I have created. And so you can as usual, start with some text, and then to display a specific blog role, you will use this short code here, where you have to first enter the name followed by equal sign and the full blog role name within quote, and then you close this short code, and like this you have this way of displaying one specific blog role. And then you can do that for all the blog roles that you are creating, if this is something that you want to do. And then you update the page, and sure enough, you should be able to see the actual blog role. So if I go there, if I go on my site, actually, like this, the blog, I go on the blog role here, and then this is how it is displayed in your page. As you can see, the optional description of the entry, of each entry, is not displayed here and elsewhere. So this is the way to use the blog roles feature on Microblog. I think it's pretty cool. So it's a nice addition, and it goes in the same spirit of the Microblog service itself, which is really for blogging. And this brings us back to the 90s, but it's pretty nice. That's it for today's video. I hope that you learned a few things along the way. Thanks for watching until the very end. Consider subscribing to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any upcoming videos regarding Microblog or craft, which I'm a big fan of. So thanks for watching again, and see you guys for another one soon. Bye.